All right, let's get into it. We all have this image of Woodstock, right? 3 days of peace, love, and music. But the real story? Well, it's a whole lot messier. It's a story of pure chaos, near total disaster, and a business plan that went so spectacularly wrong that it accidentally changed the world. This is how that happened.
So right at the heart of the whole story is this one massive miscalculation. The organizers were hoping for about 50,000 people. They got bold and planned for 200,000 just in case. But the number of people who actually showed up? Over 400,000. This one number is the key to everything. It's what turned a concert into a legend. But to get why, we have to go back to the very beginning.
Because here's the biggest irony of all. Woodstock wasn't born out of some grand counterculture vision. Nope. It was born in a pitch meeting between four young guys who, by their own admission, could not have been more different. It was a for-profit venture, plain and simple.
The original idea was actually pretty simple. Two of the founders, Michael Lang and Artie Kornfeld, they wanted to build this cool recording studio up in the artist town of Woodstock. To get the cash, they pitched two other guys, Joel Roseman and John Roberts, on the idea of throwing a little concert. And get this, Roberts' family fortune came from inventing Polydent denture cleanser. The goal for all of them? Make a boatload of money.
And this quote from Joel Roseman just says it all. You had these hippie visionaries in buckskin jackets on one side and these clean-cut venture capitalists on the other. This tension, this clash between the dream and the dollar was going to define literally every decision and every disaster that was about to unfold.
So that neat little business plan? Yeah, it pretty much imploded almost immediately. It turned into absolute chaos. The organizers weren't just fighting the clock, they were fighting an entire town, and they were fighting Mother Nature herself. I mean, just look at this timeline. 1 month. 1 month before the show, the town of Wallkill basically kicks them out. The locals were completely freaked out by the idea of a hippie invasion. So just weeks ago, they're scrambling, and they find this new spot, a 600-acre dairy farm. The mission was now, well, it was impossible. Build a city from the ground up in less than 4 weeks.
And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. It rained pretty much every single day, turning the whole place into a giant mud pit that was literally swallowing bulldozers. So finally, with only days left, they faced this impossible choice. There wasn't enough time or people to finish both the main stage and the fences and ticket gates. So what do you choose?
Now, the guy who made this all possible, even with all the chaos, was Max Yazgor, the farmer who owned the land. He was a conservative Republican, a law and order type of guy, but when his own neighbors started protesting the festival, he stood up and defended it. He didn't see it as an invasion, he saw it as an expression of what America was all about.
So what did they choose? They chose the stage. They put the music ahead of the money. And in that one single decision, the entire event just pivoted. It stopped being a business, and it started becoming, well, something else entirely. Something nobody could have seen coming.
Seriously, just think about this for a second. Put yourself in their shoes. It's days before the festival is supposed to start, and there are already 100,000 people camping out in your field. The fences aren't finished, the ticket booths aren't built. What on earth are you supposed to do?
There was really only one answer. They had to make it official. Woodstock was now a free concert. A local DJ got on the radio and spread the word, and what started as a logistical nightmare suddenly turned into an open invitation to the entire world. Their business was officially bankrupt, but a legend had just been born.
This created a really fascinating situation. The people who actually paid for tickets, many of them got stuck in these epic traffic jams that literally shut down the New York State Thruway. It was the early birds, the ones who came without tickets, who got there first. They're the ones who set up the community and created that peaceful communal vibe before the first note was even played.
So what happened next was just a series of small miracles, really. You have a temporary city the size of Minneapolis, with no food, no real security, no infrastructure. It should have been a complete and utter disaster. But every time a crisis popped up, the crowd itself just figured it out.
With no official plan, the community had to improvise. For security, this hippie commune called the Hog Farm created something they called the Please Force. They just kindly asked people to chill out. When the food ran out, the same local towns that were scared of the festival started making sandwiches and donating supplies. And in this amazing twist of irony, the U.S. Army, the very institution many of the kids were there to protest, flew in helicopters with doctors to help with medical emergencies. You can't make this stuff up.
And the chaos wasn't just in the crowd, it was shaping the art itself. The traffic was so bad that when the festival was supposed to start, none of the opening bands had made it. So they basically shoved folk singer Richie Havens onto the stage and said, "Go play." He played for almost 3 hours, running through every single song he knew. Finally, totally exhausted, he just started improvising a song that became Freedom, an anthem for the entire weekend, made up on the spot.
And then, on the final day, Max Yasgur, the conservative farmer, walked onto the stage. And his speech, it was the ultimate validation. He looked out at this sea of people and told them they had proven to the world that their generation could gather peacefully. Coming from him, it was just an incredibly powerful moment.
So why does any of this matter? I mean, why are we still talking about this muddy, chaotic, near disaster of a festival over 50 years later? Because its impact went so much deeper than just the music. It became a defining moment for a generation.
And maybe no single moment captured its meaning better than the very last performance. It's Monday morning, most of the crowd has gone home, but the ones who stayed saw Jimi Hendrix take the stage and just deconstruct the national anthem. He turned it into this soundscape of the Vietnam War. You could hear the rockets and the bombs. It was a protest, but it was also a reclamation, and it became the definitive sound of that entire era.
So when you boil it all down, Woodstock's legacy is just massive. It proves that a generation could mobilize peacefully. It showed the music industry the insane potential of huge festivals, basically creating the business model that still exists today. And that spirit of collective action, you can see it echo through the decades, from charity concerts like Live Aid all the way to modern protests.
And that's really the thing to think about. A failed business plan accidentally created this blueprint for unity on a massive scale. It kind of leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? In a world that can feel so divided, what would it actually take to capture that spirit of unity again?